Hello, my Now Dev Notes study partners. I am so excited to be back studying alongside of you. In last week's video, we covered introductions. Again, I'm Faith, your key study partner, and we talked about what Now Dev Notes is all about. It really is a community that is working toward becoming amazing application developers, both in the ServiceNow environment and beyond. So today's video is full of great information on how planning and preparation goes into building purposeful applications. So let's go ahead and get started. Planning is paramount in application development. Think about it like this. A new year is rapidly approaching, and you have goals that you want to accomplish. But if you only think about them, but you never write them down or develop a plan for how you're going to accomplish them, you might not accomplish them or even do it in a way that is done to the best of your ability. It's the same with application development. A meticulously developed plan for an application helps make your process even better. It boosts the productivity of the application as well. So we are going to delve into how to build a comprehensive design plan using what I like to call the 5 W's for success. The 5 W's are who, what, when, where, and why. These aren't just questions, but really pillars of a successful strategy. I have linked a blank copy of my design document below because remember, this is interactive. We're working together to build an application. So edit it, use your ideas inside of it, and I will be delving into each W to explain how we can build a comprehensive design document that is going to help us build those purposeful applications. So let's talk about two crucial parts of our W's, the who and the why. This is really where you want to start. When you put the who and the why together, you get what is known as the business need, or you might also hear it called as the application objective. This is important because we need to know who we're building for, whether we're talking about the company or a department, and we need to know why they need it. Right? Why are they wanting this application to solve a problem? And how can we do this optimally? By combining these two, we are making sure that our application provides value to its users. It's functional, but it's solving real problems. So let's delve into our design document. Remember, as you're following along, you can use my idea or create your own. And let's continue to discuss what we're doing in our Discord. So let's check out the design document. So here's my design document. I did post a blank PDF of it below. I recommend using Cami to edit it, especially as we go through it, so that way we're all following along and working together. Cami is a free Google extension that I like to use to edit PDFs. You can click right in with the text box and then type the title or whatever you need as we go through. So also, if you want a tutorial on Cami, just let me know. So the name of my application is the Study Space Scheduler. I have a business need here. I made sure mine was very comprehensive, again, because the more detailed I can be in my application, the better. And just the key points. So I imagine Now Dev Notes eventually buys a physical workspace. And as we expand, we want our employees to be able to book rooms for their different tech talks without any conflicts. We also want them to be able to check out the tech or the different products that they need to make sure that their tech talks are successful, and that will be happening through their service catalog, and then also incident reporting. So if any defects or anything are happening in the rooms or with the materials, we need to know that. So all of that is included in my business need, which simplifies to our application objective, which again was basically just saying that I want to be able to streamline room bookings and incident reporting. And why do I want to do this? I want to do this in order to optimize workspace management. So that way this isn't being done manually, which is taking up time, and Now Dev Notes can continue to be efficient. So next we consider the where. Where are we going to build this application? I have built full stack applications in a different environment, and I also have built applications on the ServiceNow platform. And here are 3 considerations that I think about, and I'm sure that there are many, many more. The first thing is the data. So what kind of data do I have? Is it structured? Is it data that is going to fit well into a relational database that ServiceNow does have? Or is it more unstructured, like a video? So after I've considered that first consideration, I then go to my second one and I think, well, what about workflows? what kind of flows would go well in my application and be used, especially for automation purposes? I think about my ServiceNow modules. I think about incidents, or I think about change or problem, and I think about if I'm able to incorporate those, how would that benefit my application? And then finally, I'm thinking about, this kind of goes for every environment, but mobile, desktop, all of these considerations have to be taken into account because we are trying to build the best application for our users. So in this series, we're obviously going to be building on the ServiceNow platform, specifically in Studio. So if you have not been building in Studio, get ready and we're going to have a good time. Now we're going to talk about the when. And when really focuses on the timing of it all. How much time do we have to develop this application and make sure that it is deployed and ready to go? So we have to think about, do I have to do it all on my own? Or can I use something called delegated developer, which allows admins to grant non-administrators permission so that they can deploy, develop, and even delete applications. This can help continue to move the process along. And an administrator can also make sure that that new developer only has so much access by managing their developer permissions. And that all happens in Studio. So again, when and the time is important so that we make sure that we're developing and creating our applications in a timely manner, again, to make sure that the customer and the user is satisfied with the new application. And finally, we have the what. The what aspect really drives a lot of our design document because we're thinking about, what will our data models be, right? And what are their relationships? The data is the backbone of our application. We're also thinking about, what processes do we need to make sure that we are meeting all of our application's objectives? Each detailed step helps us lay out a procedure for how we can accomplish this. And we can detail them and also visualize them using flow diagrams. Being able to see it visually helps us to move along smoother in our process. So by creating our data models and relationships and planning them out, being able to see it visually and listing procedures for each objective, we have a smoother process throughout, and it leads to more effective means of developing our applications. So let's go check out the what in my design document.
Here are my data models. As we know, close to everything in ServiceNow is a record and a table. So this is why defining my tables will be important. And in our table, the key parts that I focus on are name and data type. So the name of the field, and then also what data type will it be. So this is important because this is where planning comes into play. For example, for the room category, I at first thought that I would have the data type to just be an integer because I said, okay, room 1, room 2, or 3. However, when I thought about it further, I realized that I could build a better management system for my data and build a room table, which would keep track of all of the rooms that I have available inside of my workspace. And then I could just build a relationship between the room request table and the room table. And so instead of making room or the rooms data type integer, it is now going to be a reference type field, and it references the room table, which again just builds a better connection in my database and represents my data in a better way. I also thought about the task table, my room request task table. I think about extending. What will be extended if possible? Because if you don't have to build a completely new table, don't. If you can extend and just modify a table that is already present, that will save time, and that is all a part of planning. So my room request table will definitely extend the task table. And I also will have a user table as well, but that's already in ServiceNow, so I just didn't put it here, but I will have a user table as well. I then have a procedure plan. This is just to make sure that I know what I'm doing for each objective to make sure that I can accomplish it. So my outcome here is going to be this room reservation management. And here are just the steps, or really an overview of how I'm going to make sure that this outcome or this objective is met, and the roles that are associated with it, thinking about who is going to be using it and who is going to be building it. Because I want to make sure that this is a user-friendly interface for anyone that is going to be coming into contact with each part of my application. And again, the more detailed, the better. And again, this can be edited throughout the process. But again, it just gives a starting point. And finally, I have an example of what a flowchart will look like. I built this in Canva. Again, many other ways of doing it, but it has a start. This is just for the room request, just showing the flow of how this would happen with an endpoint. So that way I know visually what this looks like and I know what I'm going to accomplish. So this is just really a quick layout of my design document with all of my W's incorporated somehow into the planning process.
We covered some great topics today. We talked about the importance of planning in the application development process, and we talked about using the 5 W's to create a comprehensive design document. I hope you were able to use my PDF to create your own, or even use one that you already had. And now you either have a draft or final copy because you were pausing as we went, and you're ready to go ahead and begin to build that application. We'll be using that document throughout. Go ahead and post your document in the Discord so that way we can talk about it. Or if you don't have a full document done, maybe just your idea for the application that you want to build as we continue to learn together. Remember, plans might change as we go along, but that's okay because we have a strong starting point. I look forward to continuing to learn with you. See you next week.